Maybe there will be a day when little sister finally finds a way to get a win over big sister. Maybe that day will come. But that day damn sure wasn't this past weekend when talking about South Carolina and LSU. The Gamecocks gave the Tigers a big fat smack on the ass on Valentine's Day as South Carolina beat LSU once again 79-72 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let's talk about it, man. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. We talk facts over feelings, man. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Shomont. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave y'all comments. I just realized I didn't change this. So let me change this while we are here. Follow us on our Instagram handle that we just created. I just updated it right there. That's my mistake. I apologize. Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball on Instagram. We will have stuff up there that we do not post on YouTube. So check it out, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on board. But man, oh man. Every time I try to give LSU a little bit of credit, they find a way to make me look foolish. If you remember, I made some nice comments about them. Talking about them with involving being the one team that could potentially challenge UConn because of their speed, because of their ability to score. And then what happened? Texas kicked the crap out of them. 77-64. They came back with a win over Auburn, and they get another opportunity, one of the big dogs, and they get their butt beat again, this time on their home court against South Carolina, 79-72. So all those big shooting numbers and all those big scoring games, when it comes to playing real competition, they seem to struggle. And once again, the struggle they did, they lost 79-72 on their home floor. They come back on a Thursday. I think the 19th is Thursday at Ole Miss. They only got 4 games left in the season. They're currently sitting 5th in the conference in the SEC. South Carolina has a clear cut going to win the SEC in terms of the regular season, as Vanderbilt put a belt to ass on Texas as well. But every time I look to give LSU some credit, man, they find a way to work that out and make me have to rethink my thoughts. And I've had to rethink them again. And once again, LSU is a bunch of pretenders. South Carolina gave them another lesson in basketball. Tessa Johnson, largely unguardable, 21 points, 8 of 13, 4 of 5 from 3. Raven Johnson played great, 19 points, 4 of 9, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, 3 of 5 from 3. 7 rebounds, 6 assists. They got a 12-point performance out of Medina Okot, who had 17 boards as well, and 10 points out of Joyce Edwards. And that was pretty much all they needed. LSU, dog ugly, man. 2 of 12 from three-point range. They missed 9 free throws. Outside of Flau'jae Johnson, no one else showed up. Jada Richard, terrible, 1 of 10, 7 points. Michaela Williams had 11, 5 of 12. Flau'jae was at 21, 9 of 18, 8 rebounds. They shot 40% from the field. And as is the case, they out-rebounded South Carolina, but what did it mean? What did it mean? Not a whole lot, because they still lost by 7 on their home court. It's becoming a thing of the norm when it comes to LSU. It really does. It's becoming the norm. This is a game where the lead was 1 point in the fourth quarter multiple times. Multiple times. This was a 1-point game. And every single time, South Carolina made a play to stretch it. I mean, the game was 73-72 with a minute to go. 71-70, 69-68, 64-62, a 2-point game there. 61-59, 60-59. They could never get the lead in the fourth quarter. They were there, and they just couldn't get it done. And consider the fact that you know, you didn't get a big performance of that tonight last. She only had 8 points. And of course, this was the return of Malaysia Fulwiley playing in South Carolina, and she sucked. Like, bluntly, she sucked. 6 points, 1 of 8 from the field, 3 turnovers in 23 minutes of play. Like, is Malaysia Fulwiley any different of a player at LSU than she was at South Carolina? And one would probably argue, no. She's largely the same player. She only plays 3 more minutes per game. She's not playing 28, 30 minutes. She's playing 21.6 minutes. She still comes off the bench. And she's largely inconsistent. Look at her last 5 games. This is someone who's averaging 13.1 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 46.8 from the field. That's her best shooting percentage of her career, though. For the last 5 games, 6 points, 5 points, 9 points, 10 points, 5 points. Her last 5 games have been terrible. Then there was a stretch of like 6 where she played pretty well, but she's inconsistent, and she's going through a really bad spot right now in her season. And going 1-8 against your former team, you got to wonder now out loud, did she feel the pressure? And is this something that will affect her going into future potential games with South Carolina? Because this will not be the last time that she sees South Carolina. It could be the last time she sees them this year. It could very well be. But I mean, there's a possibility that they could play each other again in the SEC tournament. There is that chance. However, when in the world is Kim Mulkey going to get a win over this team? I got to ask the question. When in the world will she not get big sistered by South Carolina? They can't beat this team. It doesn't seem to matter when. They cannot beat this team. They've lost 18 straight times to South Carolina. 18. This dates back like double-digit years now that LSU has not beaten South Carolina. At what point is it just completely mental? And if they don't have one of those games in which they hit 15 threes and are completely on a torrid shooting pace, will they ever find a way to beat this squad? Because I don't see it happening anytime soon. It's the same. The games are very, very similar in nature. They're not all that different. Most of the games are typically close. Like, if you look at this game, this gives a 7-point game, but this was a 1-point game with a minute 16 left. With a minute 16 left, this was a 1-point game. And they couldn't make a stop. They couldn't make a stop. Every time, they couldn't make a stop. Even last year. Last year, they lost by 10. It was a low-scoring affair. Year before that, they lose by 6 and lose by 7. Like, these aren't. They're not getting blasted generally. Now they did get blasted a few years back by 22, back in 22, 23. But for the most part, these games are relatively close. By 6 back in 21, 22, by 4, by 7. Just going through the games over the years. By 15, that was a little wider spread. You just know, it's one of those things where you just know that if you don't have a torrid shooting game, where you're making every three, because this is largely how LSU can beat South Carolina is they gotta hit shots from the perimeter because they're not big enough. Um, they're not big enough to beat this team. Like they're not, even though they out rebounded them, they're not big enough to beat them. Like as far as to physically body their asses in this type of game, they're just not. You know, like who can deal with who can deal with Medina Okot, who's 6'5", 6'6"? Who can deal with her? She's big as hell. Like if you look at their roster, like Kat Koval played 6 minutes. She played 6 minutes. Their biggest player is 6'2", Amaya Joyner. They don't have any size out there. They have no size. So the thing I talked about before the season started, this is a small ass team. It's a guard heavy team, and they're now moved. They're only big to the bench, and their two other big players are 6'2". Like this is not a big squad. And yet you're dealing with Joyce Edwards, who's 6'3" and athletic. And she didn't have a great game, and she's their best scorer. I mean, we had 10. This is a woman who shoots 60% from the field that averages 20. She's a beast. You know, they got cooked up by Tessa Johnson. There was a point where Kim Mulkey's screaming at the team, screaming at him because, like, can you guard her? Be nice. I got to give Raven Johnson lots of credit. She's turned into a much better player this year than she was last year. I give her credit. You know, I'm a major critic of hers. I thought for a long time she's completely overrated and not all that good. But this year she's been pretty darn good. She's been a much better player. So I can only give her credit for that. But they're just big, man. They're a big team, and they're going to be a problem for a team like South Carolina, a team like LSU all day long. They're too big. They're too big. Even though the rebounding, it's crazy. The rebounding is actually in LSU's favor. They're just a big squad, and they make it very, very difficult. And if they outshoot you as well, then you have a real problem. Like if Carolina hits 8 threes and you have 2, good luck. You have a problem. You have a big problem. I can't believe in this LSU team anymore, ever. They're going to give you the same dog shit result in every big game. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. What did y'all think of this game? Because this is just another example of the failure of LSU whenever it comes down to playing Carolina. They're going to lose 18 straight times, people. This is the most non-rivalry around. Because when you get your ass kicked that many times in a row, I'm sorry, it ain't a rivalry. You're in the same conference. It's almost offensive to teams that have rivalries to call this a rivalry. When you get beat every time y'all play, it ain't a rivalry. I mean, think about where was Kim Mulkey when LSU last beat South Carolina? Was she coaching Brittany Griner? Like at Baylor? Because this is like, you're talking about 13 years ago, something like that. 13, 14 years ago it's been. I think she was coaching Brittany Griner at Baylor when LSU last beat South Carolina. Been a long time. And so therefore now I have to retract my thoughts on them being any competition for UConn, because they're not. UConn's going to smoke everybody, including South Carolina. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. We talk facts or feelings. Come on now.